Hi guys, welcome back to the Design Exchange. I'm your host Danny Russo, along with the amazing Melinda Peters Elliott.
Otherwise known as me. I like to sign my name M-E, so it looks like me.
Maybe you should just change your name to like what Prince did, just be a symbol.
I think so. I'll do I've got an M and an E all together, and that's beautiful.
I'm just going to be one big thought bubble.
What would my anime character look like?
I don't know, but I can make you one in ChatGPT.
I want one of those.
I tried one. I'll make you one.
I want one.
So
I know what yours looks like. With your hair going like this.
Hair and glasses.
I know.
I don't even know how I made that or where it came from.
I know. It was so cute. It's just your face. I have it on a t-shirt.
Keep it for the museum.
I've got a Danny museum going on. Danny Reese, I've got one of my prayer candles and everything.
Oh, perfect.
We'll have to show you one of these candles.
So this episode, we're going to be talking about...
Isn't this hilarious?
This week, we're going to be talking about basement design and what are the different elements of it, what goes into it, how much you should probably budget for it, and the different finishes that need to go into it.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that a lot of people don't stop to do first is really dividing up the space in bubbles. You know, if you think bubbles, like how do you plan something? Like if
compartmentalize.
Yeah. So you compartmentalize what functions you want to have in the basement. So a bar area, a workout area, a storage area, which we have a rule of thumb from Marie Kondo.
Oh, I don't know the rule is correct.
We think it is.
80% of your things should be put away into 20%, and only 20% should be visible. I think. Or
80% of your things in 20% of the area.
It's something like that.
The 80-20 rule.
Which goes...
Look it up.
I mean, that rule could go in many different ways.
Look it up.
Yeah. But to your point, we've been working on a lot of basements.
Yes.
And we have a lot of bars.
Mm-hmm. A lot of bars.
A lot of pool tables, a lot of workout rooms, a lot of theaters.
Hobby rooms, craft rooms.
We're working on one right now where we're adding it's going to be a dry bar, it's going to be a beverage center, but it's going to have a bar. The client likes to do crafts. It's going to have a craft space, desk for the kids, and then we're going to do a nice family theater, and we're adding a bedroom. So every basement that I've been doing, if it doesn't already have a bedroom, we're adding it on. And that can increase your home value exponentially depending on the area that you're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You always want to make sure that you're adding an egress. If you are doing a bedroom in the basement, you have to have a way to get out. We've added them on. We've dug stairwells and created a ladder system so that there's an egress window so you can get out in case of a fire. And you have to have that. If you do not have that egress, it will not be considered a bedroom. So the last 3 projects we've been working on, they have either windows in the vicinity or we've added an egress to it.
We have a client who has egress windows in the area that they want their home theater. And we were trying to decide what to do.
Those are window wells. So what you can do is dig down into those. Are you talking about your client that I went to?
Yeah, they're real high up, little tiny
windows. Those are
windows.
just plain windows, but you can actually... Open. Yes, they have little opening.
You don't want to close
He has an egress
forever.
in the back.
Yeah. Well, my point was this. We can put draperies across that entire wall so that you can pull those draperies apart and go up if you need to get out. And then that helps to sound deaden. What?
Okay, you have to be a very thin person. She's talking about a window that is made out of glass blocks, and there are 2 sets of glass blocks.
No, they're opening. There's ways to get out of them.
No, that's why he has one window in the back.
Oh, okay.
That has a ladder to get out.
Yeah, but
that's an egress window.
There's another one. Those other ones open.
They open to let air in, but you can't get out. So,
I haven't been on those so okay.
with the glass block window wells, what you want to make sure that you're doing, the glass block can be removed. You can dig down and you can remove and cut out the cinder block that's down there to make it an egress. But that is in a theater, and I think that you don't really need that. So yes, you could cover that. You should probably put insulation over it first and then cover it to your draperies. But I don't know where we're going with this conversation because now I'm just...
Well, let's talk about how to sound deaden a room for a media room. So you've got to do a lot of insulation on the floor above, and putting the most heavy duty insulation there. And then it requires like 2 layers of underlayment, which would be above layer.
There are a lot of acoustic wall treatments and wind and ceiling treatments that have come out to make things sound deadening.
Yes.
We've seen acoustic panels. We use them a lot in bars and restaurants that are in urban areas that might have condos or apartments above.
A lot of people want flat ceilings, though. In this
They do,
room,
and they do come in flat, and they come in different shapes, and you can mount them to the structure. You can mount them. You can suspend them, but there's a lot of different things. I actually learned a trick the other day of how to make a room soundproof, and it was a framing trick. Mm-hmm. So when you're doing your framing, a lot of contractors will run it with 16 inches in between, and they just run it straight.
Yeah.
If you were to increase that wall and stagger the frame, so you'll do 2x4s, and you stagger them so you're working with 18 inches, divide that by 2, that's 9. Yeah. So you'll do a 2x4, and then in 9 inches you'll do another 2x4, but you'll stack them staggered. Then what you do is you'll use a piece of metal, the thin sheet metal, and you'll weave that through.
Okay.
You then use your insulation and you weave that through. And that creates a sound barrier between the 2 spaces.
Okay, interesting.
I was on either Instagram Reels or TikTok and saw this, and I don't know why, but I was like, that's a really, really useful and good idea for doing a wall that you would need to be soundproof.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think a lot of times people forget that you can buy, the felt, like wood panels, like wood Japandi walls on thick felt. So thick felt is actually good for sound deadening. And you can weave that into
cork, bamboo. Yep. Cork is a big one.
Yep. Draperies. Interline draperies specifically. Carpet and rugs. You don't want any kind of hard floor surface in a media room. I mean, any kind of like commercial carpet with a rug on it. It can look like a very flat piece, and then you can get real thick, heavy duty carpet that helps to deaden sound too. And it keeps an area warm too. So basements can get really, really chilly. So
God, I would love to live in a basement. So nice and cold.
Yep. So now the rest of the basement area, I recommend a lot of my clients just go to LVP, luxury
LVP. We've talked about that so much.
Yes.
And I had a client bring it up just this week, and we're doing her basement. And she's like, are people doing this? And when we talked about it 4 years ago. We talked about it 5 or 6 years. How long have we been doing this?
Really?
We've talked about this a long time ago. And when we were talking about it, we would say people are using this in their bonus rooms. People are using this in their basement. Now we're seeing it come into the main levels of the home. And we're seeing it. The technology has advanced so much.
And it's waterproof now.
Waterproof. And you can't even tell the difference between real wood and LVP.
Yeah. And it's very easy to lay down, and it goes quick.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's good because a lot of people don't want the problem of going through a process of, I don't know, it can be messy, it can be dusty or whatever. This actually, it's good to cover your concrete floors up with something that will help the dust. And then something that's easy to dust once it's down.
There are LVP floors that come back so that you don't need a lining. We always recommend to do a lining. I've done it. It's made now that you can do it over tile, over grout. You want to make sure you have a flat surface.
That's one of the things that people do forget to do is with their contractor, you need to tell them you want it smooth, because if your floor down the basement is ripply whatsoever, it can just be a little ripple, LVP is going to show it. Now, a lot of the thicker LVPs, they have backer boards on them. The stuff that you're going to get at the big
Some
box
are backed by
stores,
cork. No, the box stores are, you're going to, if you see it for 99 cents a square foot,
there's
or even $2.97 a square foot, that is
nothing on
not good.
It's not.
But it's coming backed in cork. It's coming backed with plastic backing. And it's lifetime guarantees.
There's like some foam backing. But I think one of the things that people need to make sure of is the wear layer needs to be 20 mil or up, because it's basically a piece of paper that has layers and layers of, you know, topping on it for
pretty much fiberglass.
So it's going to scratch. If you scoot furniture on top of it and you have something less than a 20 mil layer, you're going to see scratches. If you're 20 and up, that's considered light commercial or heavy commercial, and that's going to completely, you know, not be destroyed by anything that you push around on it. So I think that
I see a trend coming down the pipeline, and every designer that we talk to doesn't like talking about trends or acknowledging that they participate in trends. But everybody is participating in trends, whether you know it or not. You will eventually be participating in a trend. So what you just said about wear layers, there is a new product out, and I see it going into the flooring sector, and I think it'll be first coming out in the LVP area. It's coming out into the countertop area right now, but it is a self-healing matte or glossy. Think of a wallpaper, but clear. It's a coating that goes on top, and it's self-healing. So if you were to scratch it, you rub it and get it hot, and the scratch goes away.
Oh, nice.
So I'm seeing that coming down the pipeline, and it's coming from the automotive industry.
Oh, interesting.
And that's what they're using to protect the paint jobs on cars. So I realized we were doing we're working with a company called Tough Skin, and we are now able to put this product on top of countertops in clear or in matte, and that allows us to now use marble or stones that are more fine that you wouldn't want to use in a kitchen. And it's going to like maintain the look for so much longer.
Oh, and it's clear.
It's completely clear.
That's good.
And it comes in glossy and matte finish.
That's good.
So we're seeing I think that product is going to filter down into a lot of different areas.
That'll be cool. That's going to be really neat. I'd love to see that come
So LVP is one of the main things that I use. I know you do too. And then we always soften the look with your rug and your flooring layer, well, your flooring being the rug layer.
A lot of the bathrooms that we're doing in basements do still have the porcelain tile floor. And
we're ripping that out.
Tile walls. You're ripping
it out. We're doing LVP, continuing on through.
I mean, that's one of the things that LVP doesn't have any grout. So, and nobody likes grout anymore. They hate to clean grout. I get it. I have grout too in my house, and I don't like it either. So anything that we can do to eliminate grout lines, I'm getting that constantly.
All the time.
We're doing a Flex Stone is a new product I'm using for showers, and they're one piece that look like quartz. They're pretty thin, but we do need an expert installer to do it. But you can put shelves, and it's just
is it that thin stone at Hamilton Parker?
No, it's not the same.
Because I'm doing those big
porcelain. Yeah, that's porcelain. There's sheets of porcelain. They're heavy. This is very lightweight, and it looks like limestone, or it
MSI?
looks like no.
Okay. They were coming out with one at
no. It's called. It's by Flexstone is a company. We have samples in our office that we've been ordering, and a lot of options. So, and it's nice because we can do niches, we can do shelves, we can do seats, and a lot of those one-piece units that you are buying out in the market don't have seats and they don't have shelves or niches. So, it's a nice product, and it turns out beautiful. So,
we're seeing a lot of bathrooms that are in basements that are either finished, that are outdated, that we're sprucing up, or they're afterthoughts where the basement wasn't finished, but then they decided to finish it, and they're like, oh, let's just put a bathroom here. Yeah. And it looks like... Yeah, it looks trashy. Horrifying. So we've been ripping them out, making them more... bougie. No, I wouldn't say bougie. More cohesive, basement-y. Yeah, more. I mean, more functional, and more pretty to look at. Yeah, exactly. I love downstairs basement bathrooms because I think that you don't have a window to deal with. We do, but we just did in this. You did in the in the basement. In the bathroom, we had a window. Interesting. With a well. Okay. And you could open the window and crawl out if you wanted to. Or you could go out the multiple doors. I do like glass block and windows like that in bathrooms. Glass block's making a comeback. I hate to say it. It is. So, commercial carpet can still be used in basements, and you can buy them in planks. You can custom color those. There's all kinds of options. There's a company, after we were talking about what we were talking about on the radio last week, I got a catalog from Flor, F-L-O-R. Yep. And they used to make these squares, and you could literally tell they were squares. Yeah. But they've actually evolved, and they made them look more cohesive, so it looks like one nice textured carpet, but they're still the squares. Yeah. You can buy them planks, too, just like the LVP. And then the installer can put them cut systematically, or they can do them offset. You could get 2 or 3 different colors and offset them. It's kind of cool. You can do. I can't wrap my head around doing broadloom carpet in a basement anymore. Yeah, it's just you need so much of it, and it's so. Carpet only lasts for X amount of years. Well, and then it traps everything, so they could actually pull it out if it gets ruined. But there's a flooring system that came out like that as well. You have an extra tool that will just pop a piece out and put a new piece in. It's pretty. We've seen that come down the pipeline. What about rubber flooring in gyms and home gyms? Like we've had to find that type of situation too. That's been easy to find. Yeah. You know where I found my last rubber floor? Where? The Tractor Supply. Of course and you did. I don't know why I was frequent that place very often. I don't know why I was at the Tractor Supply and Feed, TSF. I don't know. I needed this. I don't know what it's even made for, but I needed it because we were doing wallpaper and I needed a man lift to get up 35 feet. Oh, and I used the rubber mats to put the arms down onto to not damage the floor. That's smart. Yeah, that's good. But that was... Yeah, Tractor Supply. But the rubber mat, that rubber flooring is available pretty much everywhere. We're getting a lot of requests for gyms. Definitely. I've had 2 or 3 in the last couple of years. So yeah, same. And I work out all the time. So I'm all about me too. I love my Peloton. You like you're under the... My workout, I have a treadmill at the desk. Yeah, I was going to say, you're treadmill under the desk. I'll do that, and I'll get in my car, and I'll go to my client who will do my cool sculpting and my M sculpting. And, I run. I run too, in my car. Run here, run there. Yeah. So anyway, what about walls? What are you seeing on walls? So what I find interesting is basements were typically made out of cinder block. Yeah. And there was this old stone that was used in the 60s and 70s that was like a textured stone. And I feel like they've moved away from both of those types of installs. Yeah. And the newer homes are coming in sheets of textured. They're either poured, but I was at a client's house recently and I saw them installing a basement and they were actually prefabricated either 4 or 6 foot wide sheets that they were just inserting. Your client had them when we were in that basement.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what that looked like.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I really wanted. I was going through my mind. When I go into a basement for the first time, whether it's finished or unfinished, and I did this with your client, I've been asking, have you had any water issues? Have you had any flooding?
Yes.
Have you had, the correct terminology in the industry is moisture intrusion.
Moisture.
So before you go to do any of this work, you want to make sure, and I've even bought a moisture reader, moisture detector, just to have, and they're not expensive, but you should get it and put it in your me bag.
I should.
Yes,
I'm going to order that.
I bought this moisture detector just to have for situations when people are asking me about their basements, and they'll say, "Oh, we had a little bit of moisture come in. This was years ago, but we've had it repaired." Well, I want to know, is it going to happen again? What was the situation like when it happened? A lot of people, the newer homes have double sub pumps. So you want to make sure that you're working with a completely sealed room. Now, LVP flooring that's waterproof is what you want to go with, because if you do, I could tell you that one of my lovely clients, I won't say her name, my mother, redid her basement and did not consult me on it, and it's allegedly waterproof, and she used laminate flooring, which she told me was LVP. It's not LVP. It's laminate. So she's had 2 floods happen, and the laminate literally came up.
Oh yeah,
and
bubbles. Yeah,
laminate to get it to go down.
Terrible in a basement.
So
never,
that's something.
Ever do that.
It sounds cheap. It
the
might
old
sound
Pergo
good.
Stuff. Terrible.
She just did this like 4 years ago, and I was like, "Why wouldn't you use LVP?" But I don't know. She listens to this podcast, so hopefully she doesn't unfriend both of us. But laminate is a surface that you want to stay away from. But you really want to make sure that you have a good sub pump, a working sub pump, because we've had torrential rains in Ohio, and we've had flooding all over the country recently.
Big time.
And you really want to make sure that you're not going to have moisture intrusion.
Right.
So what Melinda was saying about the underlayment, that's a moisture barrier. So depending on where the water could come in from, the underlayment is kind of like a protection step.
Yep, absolutely.
And then you would put your wall. So as we were segueing into walls, you have your underlayment, and if your underlayment goes up the wall a little bit, that's a good thing. So we're seeing a lot of people will we're adding drywall, and some projects are having that with 2x4s. Some people are using thin strips that set onto the wall, and then the drywall attaches to that. But
we put the thick foam on our walls all through the basement on top of the concrete block, and then we'll eventually put drywall on top of that, and that way you get a lot more. Foam? No, it's sheets. It's 4x8 sheet foam. It's like our whole basement is Pink Panther right now, but if you mine at home. So, and that was one of the things that are...
She can't afford an Apple TV or a new TV, but she's doing the basement with double insulation.
Yeah. No, we've been working on this a while, but we put that foam on, and then furring strips, and then it'll eventually have drywall.
Furring strips, that's what they're called.
We'll eventually
furring strips is the thinner one.
Yes.
And if you're going in the higher end, you want to use your 2x4s.
But it really, a sheet insulation really helped.
Yeah.
And it really helped too. Actually, the basement is so much colder now because it's really insulating. So anyway, you would love it. Like that little
They accuse me of
like,
sleeping in a crypt because I have to be cold. Everything has to be
dark.
black.
That's right. That's right.
And
I've been using a lot of wallpaper lately, and even in the basement, I think you're safe. You know, I wouldn't do peel and stick in the basement because of...
Please don't do peel and stick anywhere.
Yeah.
Peel and stick.
If you can get that wallpaper with a regular pre-pasted back or unpasted back, you're
don't
better
do pre-pasted. It's a nightmare.
It is. It really is. And it's like everywhere right now.
I know.
And
because it's so cheap
and the
to make.
installers don't like it. They hate that peel.
My installers won't even touch it.
Oh, I have a guy who
I tried to install it once. I installed it twice. Now look, you're going to die when I
Garrett's
tell you this
salon.
story. No, I did it once with my friend at her house behind her bookshelves, and we were drinking.
Uh-oh.
And now, we had a little issue because the wall wasn't flat and it ripped, and it was just not easy. And then I did it once in Puerto Rico in a church, on the altar.
Okay.
And I built the altar. Well, I can't say I built it. I stained the wood and picked the wood out.
Woo!
And I stained the wood, and I had somebody else hang the wood.
Yeah.
And then we did the peel and stick wallpaper in the inside of the altar treatment. And somehow we did this about 6 or 7 years ago, and God must really like me because it's still hanging.
Wow. Good.
I'll get pictures that'll come up in memories, and my friend will text me and she'll be like, "Can you believe that wallpaper is still hanging?"
Wow.
And I'm like, "No, I can't."
That's great.
But
yeah,
that was a mission trip, so we'll save that for a whole nother episode. But wallpaper, tile, everybody's wanting the bathrooms, and if they don't have a bathroom, we have to create a bathroom.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of technology that's come out where it's easier to create a bathroom, where there's these pumps now that will move the water rather than digging into the foundation. So there's a lot of options when it comes to the plumbing sector. The Basement Doctor or Remodel.com or somebody else that's advertising, they're not going to know this information, and they don't want to take the time to learn it. They don't want to take the time to implement it. And if they're advertising to you and it's a price that you can't believe or that sounds too good to be true, it is. And like I said, with that client who must not be mentioned, my mother, she hired somebody to waterproof her basement. They dug a big trench out. They filled it in with rock. They put up what'd you call it? The furring strips. Redid the drywall. 2 years later, the basement flooded. Another 2 years later, the basement flooded again.
Yes.
So how did this company, what was their, I have questions.
It just didn't work. Yeah.
So
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if they can guarantee that or not, but
I mean, they gotta be. There's gotta be the moisture detector. Like when it rains, you gotta get, I mean, pay $50 and get the moisture detector, but it'll save you a lot. So furnishings.
If you do walls, like you can do like wood plank walls. You can do stone on walls.
I hate to even say
panels.
This.
What?
We're seeing a lot of different panel-sized wall treatments come out, and they're versions of that old wood paneling that I know you have it. Your parents have it in their basement.
I know. Yes.
And my mother had it in her basement, and it's coming back.
Yeah.
In a different version.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
before long, Joanna Gaines will be using that in all her remodels, and then we'll all think it's all cool. And everything old is new again. And it's mid-century. That's mid-century modern. Whoa! I can imagine. With orange.
I'm not really seeing a lot. I haven't done a lot of wallpaper, but what I've been doing is a lot of media rooms, not theaters like the client that you have, but my clients they have a bar and the OSU Buckeyes. Yep. I'm doing a lot of gaming. They don't want pool tables.
No.
We have a table that's actually reversible, and it has a tabletop, and you can flip it over, and it has felt pads, and the family's playing board games there.
Yeah. Board games or cards. I mean,
card tables, but nice ones.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of those.
Yeah. Those are really, really popular right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys have like euchre nights or poker nights and things like that. And, they'll have their friends over. And then there are women have bunco and things like that. So
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know how you have time to play games.
And that bourbon room, you can put that downstairs too.
We're doing a lot of wine cellars. I have a request for a wine cellar bourbon room combo.
Oh yeah.
And we're bringing the islands downstairs, and I don't want to say adding kitchens because that's such a Youngstown thing or an Italian thing to have the kitchen in the basement as the backup kitchen. But we're having kitchens come down into the basement, but more service areas like dishwasher for glassware, and then wine fridges, dishwasher drawers, refrigerator drawers. The dishwasher drawers I just ordered from my house. I can't wait to try them out. But you can actually turn them into a cooler and
cool.
fill them with ice if you're having a lot of parties.
That's neat.
So they're actually using these spaces. We're doing comfortable sectionals.
And they're all rounded. Everything is rounded right now.
Yes, we're working on. We're working on an interesting one right now. And it has the old style fireplace.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
And I want to do a conversation pit.
Yes.
But I'm trying to figure out how to make it. So
to build it up to put it down.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I just had that idea.
And then you have to get shag carpet this thick.
I have shag's back. I just did black shag at my clients, and I'm obsessed with it. And he's
that's very
with
sound deadening too.
I mean, yeah.
Really
oh my God.
Helps.
They used to put it on the walls in the 70s.
I know. Oh yeah, you can get that hairy shag.
Yeah, and they make rakes to rake it.
Oh yeah.
But it's funny that shag is back, and I never thought that Danny Russo would be the one
bringing it back.
Yeah,
that's mid-century modern.
But the way I'm doing it, it has a great twist. I can't wait to photograph that room. It's going to be amazing.
So furnishings-wise, I've seen a lot about Lovesac, and I'm not a big brand person.
Are we talking about the actual...
Those are like pieces and parts that go together, and then you can change your furniture arrangement, and then you can like get different covers. So
they are completely washable. I mean, they're very expensive. They're completely washable.
They are.
They have speakers built in.
Yeah.
They have a lot of, what are we doing, a disco?
It's different. You have a light going.
But the furnishings don't have to be expensive. When you say Lovesac, are you referring to...
It's a company that makes
But are you referring to, they started out with the bean bags?
No. These are actually like furniture. It's very... It's modular. It's modular furniture, and you can put it together any way you want. Like you can put it all together and have a great big bed, like a pit type of thing. You can do all different kinds of
keep going
arrangements and things like that. And then you can buy different covers, so you can change the cover. If you need to take it off and launder it, you can throw it in the laundry and put it back on.
Now, just for
Velcro.
Clarity, we've looked into it. They don't offer designer pricing. They don't really go on sale. They are extremely expensive.
They are.
So it's an investment. We have vendors where we can get different sectionals for you that are the equivalent of the deep restoration hardware. What's that called that everybody likes? It's called the Cloud sofa from Restoration Hardware.
Okay.
A lot of people are drawn to that. The Cloud sofa is extremely expensive from Restoration Hardware. It looks like crap after a few days because of the pillows always need fluff. And we have about 3 different vendors that offer versions of that that are a fraction of the price.
And all of the fabrics that we're seeing are performance fabrics on those pieces. So it can literally be a white linen, and it's performance. So your red wine, your Kool-Aid, whatever is
your bleach, you could bleach it. If
literally going to beat up, and you could pour soy sauce on it. And
just for clarity, there's 2 types of performance fabrics.
Okay.
And there's something called a performance fabric from Sunbrella that is solution dyed, is highly treatable and highly cleanable and the most sought after, and it's going to be more expensive. What's that treatment? The Krypton. Krypton is another word that you'll hear used in our industry, and it is a fabric treatment.
Yes.
So they treat the fabric in the mill to turn it into a performance fabric. It is not as resilient. It's still resilient, but if you go to scrub or you clean your furniture, every time you clean any kind of upholstery or carpet, you are taking off a layer of protection. So you want to make sure that you're always dabbing when you get stains on performance fabric.
Now, the other option is that you could fiber seal any kind of piece of furniture that you get, and you do that yearly, and fiber seal will guarantee that, it's not going to ruin, and they'll give you some sort of a warranty of some sort with that as well. So
that's like a Scotch Guard.
And
that's what everybody used to call it back in the day.
Yeah,
But for furnishings, back to Lovesac real quick. if you're talking about the beanbag things,
Yeah.
I've done a basement that's been compartmentalized for kids. It had a gym. It had a TV area with built-ins for the kids to play video games.
Yeah.
Instead of ordering beanbag cushions from Lovesac, I actually got them from Amazon.
Yep.
And the kids absolutely love them. I was over at this has been a long-term client. I was over there last week, and the 6-year-old son, Leo, had I go, is that from downstairs? He had pulled it up, and this is like 4 years old, and he pulled it up into the living room and was sitting there on his iPad, and I'm like, Leo, I'm like, where did that come from? And he goes, the basement. And I'm like, did I bring that here? And he goes, yeah. And it held up perfectly. Yeah. But for the kids in that media room, it went great. Yeah. And then when you turn the corner in this basement, that's where my client likes to host his friends over, and they watch OSU games, big TV. Yeah. And that's where we did the egress built in. They have that poker game table. They have a bar, bathroom, and then we added a bedroom, and this bedroom ended up being so big that we have 2 queen-size beds in it. Yes. Wow. And we got the egress, we got the closet.
That's
and
great.
It's basically, I mean, it added so much value to their home.
Oh, yeah. That really
and then
does.
We still maintained a nice level of storage for them. Their gym has TVs built in, has a weight bench, a pull-up bar, a dry sauna.
Nice.
And a lot of space.
Yeah.
I need to photograph that project. I walk back in and I'm like, oh my God, I did this. You were with it on me. We did those baseball cards.
Yep, I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But lighting is also going to be very important in these basements because some of these basements have very low ceilings. Yes. And some of them have normal height ceilings.
Yeah. And you need overhead lighting, and you need task lighting, and you're going to have something that you use LED. I mean, just don't use anything else but LED. Yes. I mean, any other lighting is going to be awful. So you can
stay away from drop ceilings.
Yeah. And a lot of people feel like they need to do drop ceilings because of getting to the water lines or
that's not true.
Or the laundry line, or the dryer vent line, or whatever there is to get to. But
we have access panels for that, and we determine where those go. And we're about to rip out a drop ceiling, and the drop ceiling it's a double drop ceiling.
Now I like black drop ceilings.
I don't like those.
White black.
I've done those.
So if you have to do a drop ceiling, you have to. Your husband says you have to do this. Do it black. The black rails, and then black tiles.
The rails you can get in black. They're a pain to paint, but you can actually get tiles now that are 2 or 4 feet by 6 feet long. Yeah, and
they're acoustic. So if you need to do that, that would be my thing to do.
So we were on one of our friends' radio shows a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about basements. What was the number of luxury homes in America that are built after 2005, the percentage of luxury homes that had basements in them? And I was really shocked at this number.
17%.
17%. So we're up north where we have tornadoes and we need basements.
Yes.
But in the South, they don't really have an option for that. So all of your older homes are going to have basements.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people are building barn dominiums up here in Ohio. It's a half barn, half house. And one of my friends wants to build one, and I said, oh my gosh, don't put that on a slab. Put a basement in. You need to have some place to go, in Ohio especially. So
I'm going to give you something for that client. Because
a barn dominium. I've done 2 of those. Oh, I love it.
That was my office hung that on the wall. And he had that pointed out prominently on that wall. And I was like,
this is my friend, Joanna Gaines.
Take that.
I will.
And give it to your barn dominium
dominium lady. I will.
And if you need a barn dominium designer, you can call Melinda at Fine Designs Interiors.
I would love to help, actually.
Or shop at...
I like the country homes.
She'll give you all the shiplap your little heart desires. She does barns. She does trailers. She does sheds. outhouses. You call her for what? She sheds.
I've done she sheds. I've done old farmhouses. And I'm going to leave you all with this. Yesterday, I went to a house that had a zebra in the backyard. Actually, 2 zebras in their
I
backyard.
thought you were at the zoo.
No, I was at a house in the country.
That wasn't near the zoo?
No.
Oh, I assumed you were at the zoo.
No, it was in the middle of the country.
Okay.
So
We have zebras in Ohio.
they did. That's what their job was. They had 6 zebras.
I want to go to
I
that
saw
job
2.
with you.
Okay.
Can I play with them?
No. The
Why?
one bit the guy's arm off.
Completely?
Last year. Yeah. The owner's dad. This is a story. The
So
owner's
we'll leave
dad,
the educational portion of the program to an end. We're going to leave you with the percentage of basements that are finished and what your basement budget should be. If depending on the square footage, you could plan. If you don't have a bathroom already, you can plan on spending anywhere from 120 to
250,000.
250, 300,000, depending.
500,000.
Yeah, if you're depending on what you're putting down there, and if you have a bathroom and how the piping needs wrote. So now go back to your zebra story, since we're going to tell stories.
This is the end of the podcast. So the owner went into the zebra pen and he was doing something, and the male zebra charged him and ended up biting the back of the guy's arm. They took him to the hospital, and after 2 days they couldn't save the arm. So they had to amputate it.
And do they raise zebras for a living?
Yes. It was his idea to become a millionaire because baby zebras are very, very profitable. So he was...
Okay, I don't know if we're going to illegal areas right now.
Yeah, they were literally insured. Like insured to have zebras on their property.
Don't zebras need to be warm climate animals?
They have them in the zoo in Columbus.
Let's bring them in the winter or something.
They had a barn. So it was legal for them to do this. It was above board.
Do they have giraffes?
No, just zebras. They were so cool. I was like, oh, I want to go see the zebra up close, but then I was scared. I don't want to lose my arms.
I don't know, that's
that
so
zebra
interesting.
literally cost the guy an arm and almost a leg. I'm teasing.
Did they have any other animals?
Dogs.
Okay.
I don't know.
Did the dogs get along with zebras?
I don't know.
What are you doing? I want to know more about the project.
And a blue heeler dog that would herd zebras.
What are you doing for this client? Are you doing zebra storage?
It's a brand new home being built, and I'm doing the design for it.
Okay, is that what you posted? I saw that. Okay.
Yeah,
fun.
They're in studs. It's funny. It's literally out in the middle of nowhere.
Interesting.
So remote. It's so peaceful, a beautiful property, but with zebras.
Make sure you guys subscribe to our podcast. I'm Danny Rousseau.
And I am Melinda Elliott. So.
And you can find us everywhere. Google us.
That's right. I am me.
Thanks for tuning in.
He is him. And
we are they.
Have a great day.
You too. Have a great day. I never know where these are going.